For a few seconds, nobody in the dining hall could believe what they were seeing. It felt like a dream, like one of those impossible stories students told each other late at night. The great senior Pierce, the king of Bokolo, the terror of the school, the boy who could make teachers tremble, was lying on the floor, bleeding, and the person standing over him was a girl. A girl who had only been in the school for a few weeks. Wow. Pierce staggered backwards, holding his nose. His expensive white uniform was already stained with blood. The entire hall was silent. Then somebody shouted, "Fight!" Suddenly, the dining hall exploded with noise. Students rushed onto benches, others climbed tables. Even those who had been hiding at the back pushed forward. Everybody wanted to see. Everybody. Pierce's followers looked at one another. They didn't know what to do. Nobody had ever prepared them for this situation. Nobody had ever imagined Pierce could lose. The boy himself looked confused. Not angry, oh, not yet. Confused, as if his brain was struggling to understand what was happening. Deborah stood calmly in front of him. Her face showed no fear, no panic, no hesitation. She looked like someone who had been waiting for this moment. Pierre spat blood onto the floor. The sight shocked many students. They had never seen him hurt before. Never. "You," he growled. "You think you can disgrace me?" Deborah folded her arms. "You disgraced yourself." The students gasped. Pierce roared and charged forward. This time, he wasn't trying to scare her. He wanted to destroy her. Years of pride, years of power, years of being feared. All of it was crashing down before hundreds of students. He swung his fist wildly, but Deborah moved aside. The punch hit nothing. Before Pierce could regain balance, wham! A kick landed on his stomach. Air rushed from his lungs. He bent over immediately. Another kick followed, then another, then another. The hall erupted into chaos. "Jesus, see Bitino, she has finished him. This girl no be ordinary person, no." Pierce tried grabbing her. He failed. He tried punching her and still failed. Tried tackling her. Failed. Every move he made only seemed to make things worse. Deborah moved with frightening speed, like someone who had practiced for years. Soon, even Pierce's followers began looking uncomfortable. The impossible was happening. Their leader was losing, and losing badly. Finally, Pierce managed to grab a chair. The crowd gasped. Everybody knew what that meant. Things were about to become dangerous. He lifted the chair above his head. His eyes burned with humiliation and rage. "If I can't beat you," he gritted his teeth, "I will break your head." Some girls screamed. Several students jumped backwards. Even teachers looked terrified. The chair came crashing down, but Deborah was faster. She stepped aside. The chair smashed into the floor and crashed. Before Pierce could recover, Deborah's elbow connected with his jaw. The chair slipped from his hands. Then came a powerful kick. Pierce crashed into a dining table. The table collapsed beneath him. Food trays scattered everywhere. Mighty King of Bokolo was finished. For several seconds, he remained on the ground, breathing heavily, unable to stand. The dining hall became strangely quiet. Everybody watched, waited. Pierre slowly tried getting up. His legs shook. He fell back down. The crowd gasped. Then something happened that shocked everyone even more. Pierce raised his hand, not to fight, not to threaten, but to surrender. "Please." The word was barely audible. Students exchanged looks. Had they heard correctly? Pierre swallowed hard. "Please." Ha! The hall fell completely silent. Nobody had ever heard Senior Pierce beg before. Nobody. The boy who had terrorized students for years. The boy who made teachers cry. The boy who treated the school like his personal kingdom was begging. Hey. Deborah stared at him. Pierce lowered his head. His pride had finally broken. "I beg, His voice trembled. I have heard you. Hmm. The silence that followed felt unreal. Then Deborah stepped back. She was breathing hard too. But unlike Pierce, she still looked strong, still looked ready, still looked fearless. She pointed at him. Get up. Pierce struggled to his feet. Students watched carefully. Nobody knew what would happen next. Deborah faced him directly. For years, you have been beating people smaller than you. The hall remained silent. You beat people because you knew they couldn't fight back. Pierce lowered his eyes. You bullied students. She pointed towards the teachers. You threatened teachers. She pointed around the hall. You made everyone afraid. Nobody moved. Nobody even blinked. Then Deborah raised her voice. But today, everybody can see something. Her words echoed across the hall. Bullies are not strong. The students listened. They only look strong because everybody else is afraid. Murmur spread through the crowd. For many students, it was the first time anybody had ever said those words aloud. Deborah continued. The moment people stop being afraid, she pointed at Pierce, the bully becomes ordinary. The dining hall exploded with applause. At first, it came from a few students, then more. Soon, the entire hall was shaking with cheers. Students stood up, whistling, clapping, shouting. Some girls were crying, some boys were laughing. For the first time in years, the fear inside Bokolo seemed weaker. Pierce looked around. The students who once feared him were no longer looking at him the same way. Something had changed, something permanent. His throne had cracked. Deborah raised her hand. Slowly, the noise died down. Then she addressed everybody. I am not asking anybody to become violent. The hall listened carefully. But nobody should allow another person treat them like rubbish. Students nodded. If somebody bullies you, speak up. More nodding. If somebody threatens you, report it. Even some teachers looked emotional. And if they still refused to stop, a small smile appeared on her face. Learn how to defend yourself. The students cheered again. That night, nobody slept early. The entire school buzzed with excitement. Students discussed the fight everywhere, in the hostels, in classrooms, in bathrooms, at the football field. The story spread faster than wildfire. By midnight, almost everybody knew the details. Some versions became exaggerated. One story claimed that Deborah fought 10 boys at once. Another claimed she was secretly a soldier. A third claimed she was a member of a special security unit. The rumors became wilder every hour. Meanwhile, Pierce sat alone in his hostel room. For the first time in years, nobody surrounded him. Nobody praised him. Nobody laughed at his jokes. Nobody called him king. His followers had disappeared. And for the first time in his life, he felt something unfamiliar. Shame. Deep shame. The next morning brought an even bigger surprise. Students who had spent years hiding from bullies suddenly became braver. Some reported old incidents to teachers. Some confronted students who used to intimidate them. Others simply stopped running away. A crack had appeared in the wall of fear, and every day that crack grew bigger. Then, on Monday morning, Deborah made an announcement. It happened during assembly. The principal had just finished speaking when Deborah stepped forward. Students became curious immediately. The principal looked confused but allowed her to talk. Deborah faced the crowd. Thousands of eyes watched her. My name is Deborah. The assembly ground became silent. Many people have been asking how I fought senior peers. Even some teachers smiled. She continued, I have trained in Taekwondo for many years. A wave of surprise swept through the students. Now things made sense. The speed, the kicks, the confidence, everything. Then Deborah made an offer. If anybody wants to learn self-defense, meet me after classes. The crowd erupted. Students cheered loudly. Even some teachers clapped. By the end of the day, more than 50 students had signed up. By the end of the week, the number had doubled. Soon, every afternoon, students gathered on the football field. Deborah taught them discipline, confidence, awareness, self-defense. She taught them that strength was not about bullying others. It was about protecting people. The movement kept growing, and as it grew, bullying kept shrinking. The bullies who once ruled Bokolo began losing influence. Their victims were no longer afraid. Their threats no longer worked. Their power slowly faded away. As for Pierce, he remained unusually quiet. He attended classes, kept to himself, avoided trouble. Nobody knew exactly what he was thinking, but everybody knew one thing. The old Pierce was gone, and the reign of fear that had dominated Bokolo Secondary School for years was finally coming to an end. But Deborah's greatest challenge was still ahead because some very powerful people outside the school were beginning to hear about what had happened, and not all of them were happy.